Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Are you a wildlife photographer who's finding yourself maybe stuck in a little rut? Perhaps you were looking through your portfolio and you realised that everything's just getting a little bit samey. Or perhaps you're just a beginner who's looking to actually expand their knowledge around wildlife photography. Hopefully, this video's for you. For those who don't know me, I'm Mike Stebbings. I'm a wildlife photographer based here in the UK. My primary focus is bird photography, and I record weekly videos of my trips out and hopefully provide some helpful hints and tips along the way. Okay, so when I wasn't able to get out with the camera in December, I actually spent quite a bit of time doing some research, and I actually discovered that there are three main styles of wildlife photography. So what we're going to do today is we're going to have a look at those three styles, and also as well, I went through my 2025 catalogue of images and actually pulled some examples to demonstrate these three different styles. Okay, so we're going to have a look at style number one then, and that's probably the first sort of style of photography that comes to mind when people think of wildlife photography, and that is your portraits. Now, wildlife portraits are very much similar to photographing people as well. It tends to be a large portion of the frame dedicated solely to the subject. Okay, so let's have a look at some examples of some portrait wildlife photography. Okay, so first of all, we have my shot of a kingfisher from the Staffordshire Wildlife Hides. We have the fox that I managed to capture down at Langford Lowfields, and also this cute little ringed plover from RSPB Snettisham. Now, all of these examples show the full body of the subject that was photographed. However, portraits, again, like photographing humans, doesn't have to be the whole part of the wildlife. And another common style of portraits is the headshot. Now, let's have a look at some examples of some headshots that I managed to capture in 2025. Okay, so we have the razorbill that I managed to capture at Bempton, and the northern gannet as well, also captured at RSPB Bempton Cliffs. Now, things you may need to capture these portraits is things like a long lens, because that'll help you really zoom in onto your subject and really fill that frame with the wildlife that you're photographing. You're probably also going to need quite a bit of patience as well, because to capture images like this, you really need the wildlife to be quite up close and personal. So yeah, it really does take quite a bit of dedication to capture really good portrait shots. Okay, so let's talk about style number two then. And this is probably my favorite style of wildlife photography, and that is your environmental shots. Now, environmental shots just involves encompassing the environment around your subject as well. So unlike portraits where you dominate the frame with your subject, environmental shots are more including the environment. So rather than taking up, say, 75% of the frame, the subject may only take up a small portion, somewhere between 10 and 25%. Now, these really help tell a story about your wildlife photography, and also as well, tell a story about the situation that you photographed these in. Now let's have a look at some examples of some environmental shots. So we have this reed bunting that I managed to capture at RSPB Ousfen, a razorbill from RSPB Bempton Cliffs, and also this bar-tailed godwit that I managed to capture at Drawridge Bay up in Northumberland. Now, all of these examples are where the subject is reasonably small in the frame. However, that doesn't always have to be the case for a good environmental shot. All you're trying to do is paint a picture with that subject in a natural environment to help tell you the story. Now, some examples of this where the subject isn't necessarily as small in the frame but still paints that picture are this warbler in the reeds at RSPB Ousfen, a ruddy turnstone in the seaweed at Drawridge Bay in Northumberland, and also the grey wagtail that I managed to capture at West Burton Falls in the Yorkshire Dales. Now, what that style of shot does is it still manages to paint that picture of the setting that you managed to photograph your wildlife photography subject in, without leaving it quite so far away, as you would have seen in those first examples. This is a really good way to expand your portfolio, and also, as I say, just tell a story about the situation that you were in when you captured your fantastic shot. Okay, so third and final style of wildlife photography that we're going to cover in this video, and that is your action shots. Now, the action shots are that exact moment when you're capturing the wildlife doing something that is very natural to them. Now, probably the most common thought of style of action photography when it comes to wildlife is birds in flight. So let's have a look at some examples of some birds in flight photography from my 2025 portfolio. We have the barn owl that I managed to capture at RSPB Bempton Cliffs, the kestrel that I managed to capture at Back Dyke, and also the shot of the golden eyes in flight that I managed to capture at RSPB Fen Drayton Lakes. Now, action photography shots don't necessarily have to be about a bird in flight. There are many situations that you could actually capture a bird doing something that is very natural to them, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's flying around. So here are some examples from my portfolio of birds doing bird things that aren't necessarily flying. Okay, so we have a picture of a kingfisher emerging from the water that I captured at Staffordshire Wildlife Hides, a puffin diving off the cliffs at the North Yorkshire coast, and also the swan having a bath down at Back Dyke. So you can see from those examples, it doesn't necessarily have to be a bird in flight. You may also be fortunate enough to capture something like a deer running through a field, or maybe if you're on a safari, a lion stalking its prey, or maybe even a tiger taking down a gazelle. You never know. It's just literally capturing a moment of action that your subject is undertaking. So that's what I consider the three main styles of wildlife photography. As I say, I did quite a bit of research throughout December, and that's what helped me draw this conclusion. And it's what you will see from a large amount of wildlife photographers out there. However, you don't have to limit yourself to these three styles. Why not play around and actually combine a couple of the different styles to create something a little bit more different and unique? And that is exactly what I've done in these following shots. Okay, so I've managed to combine both a portrait and action shot with these beaking gannets captured at RSPB Bempton Cliffs. I've also managed to capture another portrait and action of this feeding reed bunting down at RSPB Ouse Fen. In this shot, I managed to capture what I would consider environmental and action, as we have the puffing flying past this cave stack at the North Yorkshire coast. And also as well, I managed to capture this portrait and action shot of a cormorant spreading its wings, taken at Cresswell Beach on the Northumberland coast. So why not play around with these different styles? So another style of photography then is you can actually break into your more artistic style. Now, it's not something that I've really done anything of. However, if you want to check out some really great artistic style bird photography, please do go check out Rachel Bigsby. She has done some absolutely fantastic work and has won awards for her artistic style. You also have Mark Dumbleton as well, who resides in Africa, and he has done some fantastic artistic interpretations of wildlife out there. Okay, so I really hope this video inspires you to pick up your camera, head out into the wonderful world of nature and capture some new and interesting images, or just inspire you to just get out and enjoy this hobby that we all love so dearly. Now, obviously, if you have liked the video, do give us the old thumbs up, and if you don't already, drop a subscribe from down the bottom and hit that notification bell. We do release videos weekly. It's usually me trekking out with the camera to capture some wildlife photography, but sometimes as well, there is some little cheeky hints and tips put into the videos as well. Why not check out one of our previous trips out and see for yourself? Now, all that's left for me to say then is this is my count. Take care and be safe, everyone. Peace.